Look closely at a balding scalp. You won't find dead hair follicles. You will find completely intact follicles, trapped beneath a rigid layer of tissue. They are in a state of biological dormancy, like microbes in the middle of winter, waiting for the environment to change before they can reactivate. This physical barrier is the reason many topical treatments, like minoxidil, fail to produce results. The serums often have genuine biological activity, but they are being applied against a wall of scalp scar tissue, which prevents them from ever reaching the follicle. Biopsy studies show that up to 70% of people with pattern hair loss have this fibrotic tissue. It is the result of chronic scalp inflammation, a condition driven by an upstream metabolic factor, insulin resistance. This video outlines a specific 3-step protocol to address insulin resistance, break down the physical scar tissue, and provide the conditions necessary for dormant stem cells to wake up. To reverse the damage, we have to look at how hair follicles produce energy. Unlike most cells in the body, which can switch between burning fats, ketones, or glucose, the hair follicle matrix runs almost exclusively on glucose. When insulin resistance occurs, the signaling pathway that allows glucose to enter the follicle cell remains blocked. This creates a metabolic starvation state where the follicle is surrounded by fuel it cannot access. As the body produces more insulin to compensate, the chronically high levels act as a vasoconstrictor. It narrows the micro blood vessels supplying the scalp, further reducing the oxygen and nutrients reaching the stem cells. This inflamed, low-oxygen environment activates fibroblast cells. These cells lay down dense collagen, creating the permanent layer of scar tissue that seals the follicle away from the surface. Because this barrier is structural, applying topical serums without addressing the underlying metabolic starvation rarely produces lasting regrowth. Step 1 is to change the internal environment by reversing insulin resistance through specific dietary interventions. The most direct method is reducing carbohydrate intake to fewer than 50 grams per day. Lowering carbohydrates forces circulating insulin levels to drop, allowing the body to restore its natural insulin sensitivity over time. Pairing this with a 16-hour fasting window triggers a process called autophagy. This is a cellular recycling mechanism that clears out damaged proteins and has been shown in research to play a direct role in reactivating dormant hair follicle stem cells. To support this, incorporate 20 to 30 minutes of daily moderate-paced walking. This is one of the most reliable ways to improve insulin sensitivity and lower cortisol. Elevated cortisol from stress or sleep deprivation directly worsens insulin resistance. To support the nervous system during this transition, 50 to 100 milligrams of natural vitamin B1 can help modulate the physiological stress response. This internal protocol addresses the root cause of the scalp inflammation, preparing the environment for the stem cells to begin their growth cycle. Step 2 is the mechanical removal of the scar tissue barrier using a microneedling device. For the scalp, research suggests a needle depth of 1.0 to 1.5 millimeters. These controlled micro-injuries trigger a wound healing response that remodels the existing collagen. As the body replaces the fibrotic tissue with healthy collagen, the physical barrier that prevents topical penetration begins to diminish. Because tissue remodeling takes time, this should only be performed once every 2 to 4 weeks. Full healing between sessions is necessary for the scalp structure to improve.
Do not apply any topical treatments immediately after needling. The skin barrier is compromised, and applying actives too early can cause severe local irritation. Wait 24 to 48 hours for the skin surface to stabilize. At this point, the microchannels are still partially open, allowing treatments to reach the depth of the follicle. Step 3 is the application of biological activators now that the metabolic environment is stable and the physical barrier is being cleared. The primary recommendation is topical melatonin. Applied at night, melatonin acts as a powerful antioxidant that reduces oxidative stress in the follicle and stimulates growth activity. We also need to address DHT. While this hormone does contribute to follicle shrinkage, it also supports mood stability and libido. The goal of this protocol is to normalize DHT's effect on the scalp, not to eliminate the hormone from the body. Aggressive pharmaceutical DHT blockers can lead to post-finasteride syndrome, a condition involving persistent depression and sexual dysfunction. Instead, you can use natural adjuncts for gentle modulation. topical rosemary oil has shown results comparable to minoxidil in clinical trials, while 400 milligrams of oral pumpkin seed oil daily has been shown to increase hair density by 40%. By layering these targeted topicals onto an insulin-sensitive scalp, you can stimulate the follicles without the risks associated with systemic hormone suppression. You can screenshot this checklist for the complete protocol. It covers the dietary targets, microneedling requirements, topical timing, and daily walking for cortisol management. Consistency is critical. Based on case study data, reversing insulin resistance and remodeling scalp tissue requires a commitment of at least 6 months before the follicles fully reactivate. If you are experiencing rapid or unusual hair loss, consult a dermatologist to rule out thyroid dysfunction or autoimmune conditions like alopecia areata. The stem cells are still alive and waiting. By setting up your fasting window for tomorrow, you take the first step toward changing the environment and waking the follicle.